What's up guys, my name is Richard the Mattress Pro and today we're doing a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about the differences between Beautyrest Black and Stearns Foster. I've made this little board here, this whiteboard, filled it out, so it's kind of something that we can use as a visual guide, but help with notes and whatnot. So both of these mattresses are incredible. I always tell people it's kind of like BMW versus Mercedes-Benz. It's really just which one you like more. Both are awesome. And there's some key differences that I think are really important that we can get into, but odds are, like, if you get either one of these mattresses, you're gonna be happy because they're both really nice. And they're both luxury premium brands and have been for a long time. So I sell both these mattresses. I sell them nationwide. So either you're looking at the Series 1, 2, 3, or 4, or the Stearns & Foster Estate, Studio, Luxe Estate, Reserve. I can ship them anywhere nationwide and I guarantee the best price. So shoot me a text at my cell phone number you see on the top of the screen here, and I'd love to help you out and get on the phone with you. Even if you're not purchasing, I would love to help you just find the right one for you. Or maybe you're doing an exchange and want to know what to exchange to. Whatever the case may be, shoot me a text. I'm happy to help you out. So going into this, I've been selling both these beds pretty much my whole career. I would say a little over 13 years of selling mattresses since I was 18. And, I've gotten some, I've sold tons of them and I've really gotten some good insight on what people think. I've had both of them growing up and just switch out my beds. They're both great options. They both have great beds in the lineup and they kind of compare to each other, whether it's Series 1 to the Studio or you're going Estate to the Series 2, Luxe Estate, Series 3, Reserve, Series 4. But we'll kind of go into some details. It can get a lot more in depth. I'm going to try to keep it not so in depth to get just confused with all of it because there's so much you could talk about both these brands. So we'll just talk about kind of the key points of both of them and go over it. So first things first, with the Beautyrest Black versus the Stearns & Foster. Beautyrest Black, I do like the coil unit that they use a little bit better than the Beautyrest Blacks. They're known for their triple braided pocketed coil. What that triple braided pocketed coil is essentially 3 coils per every coil in the mattress. It's pretty incredible. It's sturdy, it's strong, just a great feel and fit, and it lasts for a really long time. Whereas Stearns & Foster uses the IntelliCoil. The IntelliCoil it's like a 2-in-1 system. They gear it as an outer coil for support or conforming, and then the inner coil for support. Kind of a cool idea. So essentially a 2-in-1 versus a 3-in-1. So with the Beautyrest Black, for one, cooling is great with both of these mattresses, but I would say as far as cooling, I do believe the Beautyrest Black feels a little bit cooler. We're going to touch on the innovation a little bit later, but I feel like Beautyrest Black is just a little bit more innovative in the materials they use, where Stearns & Foster likes to play it more safe. But overall, I think Beautyrest sleeps a little bit cooler than the Stearns & Foster. And also that goes along with the foams that they use. So the Stearns & Foster foams Stearns & Foster was bought out by Tempur-Pedic. And when they were bought out by Tempur-Pedic, they are a lot more dense. They use that dense foam, which also gives it a more memory foam feel, which is something that I failed to put in here. But if you're listening, the memory foam feel, it's a lot more dense and it feels more like a memory foam mattress now. They weren't always like that, but ever since that merger happened, especially in the higher end models, it's a lot more memory foamy. So I guess if you don't like a memory foam feeling mattress, then you probably like the Beautyrest Black more. The innovative side of Beautyrest, I mean, they created the pocketed coil, or they've mass produced the pocketed coil in 1925. Everyone says they created it. I mean, they probably did, but who knows if someone did it first. But in 1925, they did the individually wrapped coil. So it's basically so you can have a mattress that conforms to you better, and there's no motion transfer or partner disturbance. If you're old enough to remember the bowling ball commercials back in the day, where they put a bowling ball on one side, the other person doesn't move, that's Beautyrest, Simmons. When it comes down to what they do to mitigate heat, they use little air vents on the side of the mattress. I don't know how effective it is, but it's a great idea and I like it. When you sit down on the mattress, you can actually feel the air circulating in and out of those little air vents, which is kind of cool. And all the Stearns & Fosters do have that, especially in the higher end models. Classic design for Stearns & Foster. I mean, they're being a little less innovative, a little less willing to change things up. They have changed the colors recently, but they've always had that classic kind of old school design, which I think is pretty cool. I think that's something to note, but you don't really see the mattress anyway because you always have sheets on it. When it comes down to the encasement, so Beautyrest Blacks have a foam encased edge. It's a little foam that goes around the coils of the mattress, so you have a nice edge support. What Stearns & Foster does is they'll use an edge-to-edge coil design. So what that means is you have coils going all the way to the edge of the mattress. They say it's for support on the side. I think they both do a great job. Again, kind of the BMW Mercedes type of thing. More foam feel. I did actually put that in there. They're more dense because of the Tempur-Pedic foam that they use. It's a more dense foam, so it has a more foamy feel. You might like that. If you like a memory foam mattress more, maybe like the Stearns & Foster. If you want that more traditional feel, Beautyrest Black. Whereas the Beautyrest has a more traditional feel. So again, most hotels are going to use a Beautyrest. If they're a higher end hotel, they use a Beautyrest Black. Some hotels use Sealy, which is also Stearns & Foster, but Stearns & Foster is like the higher end Sealy. So in the 80s, Sealy bought Stearns & Foster. You do have flat top hybrid options with the Beautyrest Black. Now you had that in the Stearns & Foster. It just didn't really work out too well for them. It wasn't selling well. When I had it in my showroom, I wouldn't sell it too much. I didn't personally like them that much, but the Beautyrest hybrids, they've really knocked it out of the park with those. And I feel like they probably failed to, Stearns & Foster probably fails to put a lot into it because again, Tempur Sealy, and they do a lot for the Tempur-Pedic hybrid. So that might be why, but I'm not exactly sure why they stopped doing it, probably because of lack of sales. So for Beautyrest, you'll have series 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the corresponding models to the Stearns & Foster are going to be the Studio, Estate, Luxe Estate, Reserve, going from least expensive to the most expensive options. What Stearns & Foster has going for them is a story of hand tufted and handcrafted. So kind of like that more premium experience in that story. Some of the models, especially in the Reserve collection, the Luxe Estate, they're actually tufted. So these little ropes holding everything together. My only critique on those mattresses is I wish they had a little bit more. I feel like they do it just to say they are hand tufted, but not enough for it to really be effective. That's what I feel. Whereas the Beautyrest are not. Cool stories about the Beautyrest. Like I said, they mass produced the pocketed coil. They're kind of the innovators of the pocketed coil in the mattress back in 1925, which is huge. The company started before then, but when they really picked up is the first Beautyrest mattress was those pocketed coil mattresses in 1925. They've invented the queen and king size mattress, and they've just always been innovating everything. I mean, they're always the first to do something. Sometimes they do something, it's not a hit, but they do get a lot of hits. Whereas in 1846, Stearns & Foster, they started out not as a mattress company, but they actually started out as they were doing horse carriages, the upholstery inside horse carriages. So really luxurious, really old school. And then they went transition into mattresses some years later. But guys, if you want to kind of go in depth or see which model works best for you, I'm happy to help you out with that and happy to sell you the mattress. I ship them nationwide and I guarantee the best prices. My name is Richard the Mattress Pro. Thank you for watching. We're out.